want to be respectful and professional. Like we've heard for the past few months, this could turn out to be an iconic sporting event. Sporting, not just MMA. It could also be a dud. We don't want that. Or it could land in between. Let's hope for iconic. But all we can do right now is talk about the now, right? We haven't seen the event. We'll talk about that next Monday on Spinning Back Clique, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. But for now, going in, Nolan, your expectations for the Sphere.
They're high. I'm not sure exactly what to expect, right? Because I think a lot of the details have been kind of kept under wraps, but we did find out some more stuff in the last 48 hours or so that the UFC is going to be essentially trying to tell a little bit of a story, right, over time. And they're going to be inserting mini movie clips or I don't know how you want to, I don't know if they're individual movies or they tell a bigger story or maybe both, right? So I'm excited for it. I think there's a lot of people that maybe are downplaying it. That they're kind of, I think it's just hard to criticize yet. Like a week from now, when we talk about this, we'll have a lot more information. We'll be able to say, oh, that wasn't great, or that was great, or that was fantastic, whatever. But at this point in time, I'm excited for it. I'm intrigued. I mean, how many times do we come on here and say the UFC should do something different? They should try something creative. They should try something new. And so here they are, and they are trying something that fits all those categories. And so I'm willing to give it the opportunity that it deserves to be judged. And so I'm excited for it. I think the Sphere is cool. I've been captivated by it since the clips came out on Instagram from the first ever concert that they had there with U2 when they ran it for the first time a few years ago. How will it come across on TV? Not really sure, right? What kind of images will be in the background during the fights? Will it be distracting to the fighters? Not really sure. So I think we have a ton of questions, but I really don't have too many answers until we see this whole thing play out.
Danny, your expectations, and I really want to lean on the fact that you're a huge soccer fan. Dana's put it up there with greatest sporting event ever, man. World Cups are massive. Champions Leagues are massive. Copa America finals are massive. Some derbies, meaning rivalry games, Real versus Barcelona, Manchester United versus Liverpool, River Plate against Boca. You know what I'm saying? Like, like the expectations are so high, they have to meet that for him to really, I guess, cash in on what he's saying.
Yeah, my expectations are pretty high, and I think the UFC is going to have a great show. I've seen a lot of negativity because, the ticket sales might be struggling a little bit, but that has nothing to do with the production. Just because people aren't willing to pay that much money for it, that's a completely different subject. But people are kind of marrying the two together. I think it's going to be a fantastic show. One of the greatest shows in UFC history, probably. I mean, we'll always have to see how it plays out. But have you seen the stuff at the Sphere, like all the concerts that they've done? First of all, the quality of the effects and everything is just ridiculous. The whole concept is completely unique. And then you're doing a fight, like a high-level MMA fight with 2 title fights in it. Like, I'm in. I'm actually jealous. I'm not going to be able to attend. Cold Coffee is going to be there, so he's going to get to enjoy that. And unfortunately, they say it's going to be the last. And I mean, it's really expensive show. We've seen how much they've put into it. So probably, I believe Dana when he says it's going to be the last one they do. But I'm excited. I think it's going to be great. And again, the money's not coming out of my pocket, so I'm all in. And like Nolan said, we often criticize the UFC for not having fun, for not getting creative. Well, here they're doing it, and I can't wait for Noche UFC or UFC 306, whatever they're calling it.
Mm-hmm. Riyadh season, Noche UFC, and then somehow the 306 gets slipped in there. I'm looking at tickets right now, and 1,000 gets you in the 100s, 1,060. In the 200s, you're looking at more like 870, 1,300 more towards the middle, and the 300s, something just happened. I don't know. But anyway, I'm seeing that you can get in for 700 now, folks. Before it was 2,000. So they have taken a little bit of a dip. Of course, Ticketmaster will probably double it just in their exorbitant fees. Goes, your thoughts, man. Expectations going in, we leaned on Danny for international soccer. What about the big stuff that happens here? UNLV, they took home a Final Four. My 49ers, we've won 5 Super Bowls. Nolan, shut up. Don't bring up the New England Patriots and their 6. And I mean, there's just so much. I don't know. I think the expectations are really, really high, but where are you at right now with the excitement?
Oh, I'm excited for it. But look, the razzle dazzle, all that's great. Everybody loves that. But what it really comes down to are the fights. I mean, they have less fights on this one. If you're there live, I don't see how you could walk out of that and not be excited. I just think the Sphere is amazing, and what they're probably going to do with it is going to be pretty damn cool. But 99% of us aren't going to be at the Sphere. So really what it comes down to are these fights. They need to deliver. On top of everything that you have going on there with that Sphere card, you have to remember you're also battling Canelo, right? People want to watch him fight. People are into college football. This is a great time for sports. So yeah, Dana White bit off a lot. Will it deliver? I don't know, man. Hopefully them fights are really good because like I said, most of us aren't going to be in the Sphere. I don't know if we're going to be able to take it in the way they will.
Funny you say that. Mark England in the chat says Noche UFC is not living up to Dana's billing. Decent pay-per-view, but not the card that we hoped for. Joseph Boza says the pay-per-view on paper isn't worth $80. Dana overhyped the crap out of the event. Yeah, you know what? And going back to what Sean O'Malley had said, it's the Sphere's the show. You know, how come I'm not getting as much love? You know, him versus Merab is a quality fight, and so is Alexa Grasso versus Valentina. I think they definitely should have given us more talent because they got too caught up in the Sphere, right? And they focused too much. And this is as a Mexican American, I'm saying this too much on saying Mexican talent. I still feel like they could have given us more talent, right? To really make, especially since it's a one-time thing. I hope they do another one. And I hope they really, really do well. But the expectations now are super, super high for this event. We'll see if they can deliver. But yeah, chat room, you guys are spot on here. Which fighter of the big four has more to lose, Danny? O'Malley, Merab, Grasso, or Shevchenko?
Man, such a tough question. I think they all have a lot to lose in their own respective ways, but I'm going to go with Valentina Shevchenko in this one because I feel like, you know, those losses to Grasso in that one tie, well, one loss and one tie, and then if she gets a loss here, I feel like that can really change a little bit the way we look at her. I mean, we look at her today as an all-time great, and she is, and she will always be, no matter what happens moving forward. I mean, the records are there, but I do feel like that loss and then that tie, and if she takes another L, we are going to start seeing her differently, right? She's not going to get to walk away like Amanda Nunes did with the title. And also, like, out of all the fighters there, I can see, you know, every single fighter there losing and working their way back up to a championship opportunity. But Valentina at 34, almost 35, you know, being 0-2 against the champion, that's a tough spot. So I think Valentina.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I had to think about that one as well, man. I guess I was thinking more about O'Malley because of the superstardom that could await him. Because we've all said if he can get past this tough out, whoo, you know, like maybe this guy can really, really go on a run. And you know, again, I know he's pitting himself against McGregor. Takes a lot to get there, but I remember when McGregor was pitting himself against the Brocks and the Joneses and whoever, you know, and he surpassed them. Ronda, throw her in there as well. What's your prediction, Nolan, for O'Malley versus Merab? Who gets it done, man? I think Merab was a favorite at one point. I'm not sure if he still is, but a few things going against him. He's battling the boss, rumors of a staph infection, you know, and O'Malley did take out someone that's got a very similar skill set to Merab in his teammate, Aljamain Sterling.
It's a tough fight for me to pick. I am leaning with Merab. I just think his skill set, his style matches up really well with O'Malley. But I said the same thing about Aljamain Sterling, right? And Aljo and Merab are close training partners and friends and definitely have some stylistic overlaps. I think the thing that's different is Merab's pace, his pressure, his relentlessness. Like I expect him to be perhaps a little more aggressive than Aljo was. And maybe a little bit more playing to his strengths. I think Aljo kind of strayed away and got kind of sucked into some of the striking with O'Malley. But this fight's interesting, man, because conversely, you know, you go back and you watch Merab's fights against Marlon Moraes, you watch the fight against Henry Cejudo, like they caught him with, you know, a combination where he was getting too aggressive. Actually, if you look at the two, if you put the two tapes side by side, it's almost the exact same sequence. So O'Malley has that ability at any point to end the fight. And, you know, Merab's going to be careful. He's going to make sure that he's improved his striking defense. And it's just a really interesting fight on paper. There's a lot going on, right, with this event. There's the Mexican Independence Day, you know, theme. There's the Sphere. But this is just a great fight. It's really actually very interesting to me beyond the personalities and the rivalry and the stardom of O'Malley. Like style-wise, this is just a really intriguing fight. It's close in my brain just because of that, but I am going to lean with Merab.
Goes, what about the potential of a tetralogy, meaning 4-fight series, right? Because Alexa's 1-0-1 against Valentina. If Valentina wins, it's 1-1-1. Nothing's been settled because of Michael Bell giving us that draw way back when, whatever. What do you think, man? Can this possibly happen? And after seeing Figgy and Moreno just wear us down, they wore each other down. Moreno had to do a semi-retirement. Figgy had to go to another division. Can this happen? Will it happen?
Can it happen? Of course, definitely. There is the potential for that. Do we want that to happen? Don't forget, George, like there was an Ultimate Fighter involved with this as well. So I would almost feel like I'm watching it a 5th time at that point. But it's a lot, man. It's really difficult because I'm going to kind of go back to one of the questions that you asked earlier, because I'll tie it into what I'm about to say. When we talk about who has the most to lose here, for me, Alexa Grasso has the weight of an entire nation on her back right now. She's the last Mexican champ. The card is called Noche UFC. Okay, if that doesn't put more pressure on you, I don't know what will. So now she's got the pressure of an entire card on her. On top of everything, yeah, your title's at stake. You don't want to face Valentina a 4th time. There is a lot on the line in this fight. If you break it down between the two, I do feel like Valentina maybe has slowed down a little bit. Alexa Grasso is improving with every fight. So it's really, really difficult to call this fight. The one thing that stands out for me is that when you hear things that they say, you look at Alexa Grasso's camp, right? They're just constantly innovating. They're getting better. When you hear some of the things Valentina is saying, she's just saying things like, I'm just going to do what I did before, but I'm going to do it better. I think we need adjustments in this fight for her to be successful in this fight. This is going to be a really, really tight race. But right now, this is early in the week. I'm leaning more towards Alexa Grasso. We'll have to see what the rest of the week brings. But right now, that's where I'm at.
Danny, how about you, man? Give us a prediction on this fight. We probably already turned in our stat picks, or maybe you're still weighing it through, but we've seen enough from both of these ladies. What are your thoughts?
I'm going to go with Alexa. I mean, she's getting better. She's in her prime. Shevchenko's towards the end of it. I can see her just kind of maintaining what she's got, but I don't see her improving much. Where Alexa Grasso, I mean, I think she still has a gear or two in her game to hit. So I'm going to go with Alexa Grasso. Plus, I mean, just the sense that I got from watching all the fights, it seems like every round she got more confident. Every training camp she learned a little bit about Shevchenko, and she showed us different wrinkles, as Go said, whereas Valentina has kind of just remained the same, just made sure she's prepared well. So I'm going to go with Alexa, and I'm surprised the odds are this close. I think they should favor her a lot more.
Danny, I'm going to stay with you because I want to know, what do you think of the one fight that might get left to the side but shouldn't? Diego Lopez against Brian Ortega. Is this somehow a title eliminator, by the way, or are we getting too ahead of ourselves with all the talent at featherweight?
Complete banger. I mean, what else is left? I guess Volkanovski is the only player that could raise their hand and be like, hey, I'm the former champion. I got history in this division. I'm going to get a title shot over the winner of these guys. But in terms of excitement, like, I mean, just look at these highlights. That's all I got to say. Like, the winner of this fight, this fight's going to be bananas. The winner of this fight is going to be super compelling to fight against the champion, whether it's Ilya or whether it's Max. So I think at this point in time, with some of the decisions the UFC has made and maybe valuing entertainment a little bit more than sporting merit, bro, how can you not be hyped for either a Brian Ortega or a Diego Lopez fighting for the belt next? So especially if it's Diego Lopez, he's got to fight for the title.
Aljo and Evelev, they don't stand a chance. The winner.
Sorry, no, I just don't see it. Just don't see it. I mean, great fighters, but like at this point in time, they're competing with other great fighters that also have strong resumes. Plus, they have a bigger excitement factor.
Who wins that fight, Nolan?
Ooh, I mean, I'm probably going to lean Lopez at this point, but Ortega, man, that submission against Zaire. Oh, between them?
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I really did mean Lopez and Ortega.
Okay. Messing with me. To answer that question, I
gotta stare at your Celtics banner, man, every time you're on. Yeah. So I get to mess with you.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody's coming at the Kings, right? Everybody's coming at me. I would probably lean with Mobsar if that was a serious question. If it wasn't, if you were asking about Ortega and Lopez, I am going to lean with Diego. I just think he's got so much momentum. We haven't seen many flaws from him. Like a lot of what he's accomplished is in an area that we haven't seen him. Like that's not his thing. Striking is not his thing. I mean, it is because he's killing it, but his thing is jiu-jitsu. And sure, he sets up his submissions with his striking a lot of times, but it would be interesting to see what happens if they hit the ground. I'm thrilled with this one. I think this is probably, I mean, the main event's obviously super intriguing, but this is right up there. This is a close, 1A, 1B scenario and excitement for me.
As we wrap up, guys, give me one highlight, either a fight or just something about this tremendous card that coming up this weekend that you're excited about. We'll start with Goes.
Daniel Zellhuber. I think this kid has the makings of something pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to get better with every fight, so I think look out for him.
Okay, Danny Segura.
Oof, there's so many good fights. I'm going to go and highlight Ignacio Ajamondes versus Manuel Loco Torres. That has fight of the night. You heard it here first. That fight's going to be bananas. Two really exciting strikers that throw it all out there. All gas, no breaks. I mean, their defense is a little bit questionable, but their offense, goddamn, these guys put it on. So that's the fight to watch.
All right, how about you, Nolan? You got a fight or something else about this unique event coming up here on Saturday?
No, that's the fight, what Danny just said. But for me, it's the spectacle. It's the UFC doing something different. Them bringing in, directors and producers and writers from elsewhere, like accepting that they're going to have to learn, knowing what they don't know, right? The UFC, we don't see that like a ton. So for them to go out, really put in it seems like a lot of work to get this thing done. I'm excited for them to do something creative and kind of really push the ceiling of what's possible with the creativity in the fight game.
I got one question that came through the chat and I can't find it. Now I don't want to scroll forever, but it was real close to something I left out. Has the UFC underpromoted O'Malley versus Merab because they're too caught up in the sphere? Danny, you take that one.
A little bit, and certainly O'Malley's complaints are valid, but like this is the sphere, as Nolan mentioned. Like this is not just any regular arena. So of course they spent $20 million on this thing. So of course it's going to be talked about, and it's going to overshadow a little bit of the title fight. But I will say this to O'Malley if he's listening to SBC this Monday, dude. If you have a highlight reel, like the pictures, like everything, this is going to be legendary. The pictures and the moment, it could be literally iconic. I mean, he has his moments. Like this is it. This is where legends are made of. Like he can do something really special here with this show. So I'm excited for it.
I think he should ask Venom to make him one of that red jacket that O'Malley wore, and he should wear that in the octagon, that Michael Jackson jacket that he wore, whatever that was.
That'd be sick, yeah.
Yeah, just kind of tie it all in, man, folks.